Money, money, no one else but you. Money, money, no one else but you. Yay! We finally made it into another awesome year. Thank you so much for sticking and staying on David's Avenue. But before I move straight into today's content, I'd like to ask you, have you made your New Year resolutions yet, or you are yet to make them? Well, do you have any ideas as to even how to go about it? Do you have any ideas on how you want to make your New Year resolutions? Maybe you are confused. Well, don't worry, this is the right place to be. Stick and stay with me. I'll be right back after this break. Yes, welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking and staying on David's Avenue. It's me. It's always a pleasure and honor coming your way on this very channel. I hear many people talking about resolutions. Right, for me, resolutions started, at a very, very tender age. I think around 7, 8, 9, 10 years of my life when I was going to church. That is where, because when it comes to the African society, you would hardly meet a parent who would sit you down to tell you that, David, write down some peculiar things or some really straightforward things you want to do for this particular year. You would hardly get that. So it was mainly at church that I got that particular training, and today I just want to share what are New Year resolutions. Now, New Year resolutions are basically a set of promises or a set of ideas or plans that you lay out to execute in the coming year. So take it 2021 for instance. Maybe you started this year and you tell yourself that this year I want to build a house, I want to get married, I want to buy a car. Now these become your New Year resolution. I want to demystify the notion that New Year resolutions are only made at the beginning of every brand new year. Yes, that is like the standard, that is like what is actually done. But what I want you to know today is that making a resolution, can be at any point in time of your life, especially if you want to undertake a project or something very, very important in your life. But before you start making your New Year resolutions, you have to make some background checks of yourselves. You have to sit down and assess yourself that, who am I? So the first step is knowing your personality. Are you that person who is very resilient, very hardworking, very persistent, goal-driven? If you know your personality and say the type of temperament you have, that will inform the kind of resolution you make. That will inform the kind of plan you put ahead of you to make in the coming year. So moving on to the next step in your background check is that you have to know your goals for the next, say, 2 years of your life, or maximum 10 years of your life. Now, as a human being, what are some of the goals in your life that you always want to achieve going or moving on forward? Now, you have to know that these goals are going to influence the New Year resolutions you make. So therefore, the resolutions are sort of more like a demo, or say an abridged version of the ideal 5-year plan you have. So the yearly resolutions you make are basically a stepping stone into achieving your long-term resolutions. Now, after you've done that background check, you have to now break it down and spread it across the year. Now, let's move on straight into making a New Year resolutions. I hope you have your pens or your notepads on your mobile phones ready, just about to type something. First and foremost, have a realistic mindset. Have a realistic mindset. Now, for many people, all the time when they want to make something, the kind of mindsets they have is so not realistic, or should I say unrealistic. That is actually the word, because they tend to make some decisions or make some plans that are not quite achievable, because you want to say you are 20 years and you know that at the age of 20 years maybe you are now probably entering a university or maybe about to complete, and you don't expect to buy a car immediately you complete university, unless maybe whilst in school you were working or doing something, very, very, very substantial. Have a mindset such that you know that the kind of goals you are going to make are goals that you'll be able to achieve as a young guy or as a young girl. Second step is to write down your resolutions. Now, this is one big problem so many of us have. Maybe I want to include myself so that you understand the gravity of what I am saying. So many people have the issue of not writing down their resolutions. This is like a very, 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 very important step that you have to take when you are putting down your new year or planning your new year resolutions. So it means that you have to write them down. Now, writing them down, what are some of the items that you need? First of all, you need a notebook. Okay, look at how my notebook is. It's quite big, so it depends on you. Maybe you are good with maybe stick-ons. Maybe you like that those type of stick-on papers where you stick them on your walls, maybe on your fridge, maybe on your laptop, maybe on your wardrobe, anywhere at all. Or you want to have a notebook, or maybe a small. I know quite a number of people have small notepads they keep in their pocket, so wherever they go, they jot things down, they open, and then it reminds them of certain things. You understand? So first of all, you need a notebook and also a pen. Don't undermine this. You need a pen. Yes, so you having a notebook and a pen means that you are now ready to write down your new year resolutions. Now, writing down your new year resolutions, you have to think that, okay, so this is a new year. What are some of the things that I want to achieve? So making resolutions are varied. The ideas are varied. You might maybe want to make a resolutions based on your career path. You might want to make a resolutions based on your interpersonal relationship with people. You might want to make a new year resolution based on how you want your family life to be like, or your social life, some things or some properties you would like to acquire for yourselves. So there's a wide array of sectors or areas you might want to make your new year resolutions based on. So now, after you've written down your new year resolutions, the next step is that you ought to have timelines. Have timelines for yourself as a person. So having timelines sort of becomes your guideline, and it always reminds you of what you are doing at every point in time. So as you know, there are 12 months in a year. You can break it down that, okay, so there are 4 quarters in a year. So mean that I'm going to have 4 resolutions. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 resolutions in a year. So another most important step is that, or the fourth step is that you have to be disciplined and resilient. Disciplined and resilient. Now, being disciplined as a human being, I realize that many people of late are not disciplined in terms of their own personal lives. They tend to do anything at any point in time. No. Discipline boils down to your time management, where you are at what point in time, the kind of engagement you always allow yourself into, the kind of studies or projects you undertake into achieving your career. Now, these are all part of being a disciplined person. You understand? So if you know you're a disciplined person, you don't attend parties at times you're supposed to be studying. If you know you're a disciplined person, you don't sleep whilst you know that at this point in time I have to be working or I have to be doing something productive. You understand? So that is being disciplined. And being resilient means that you should be able to bounce back anytime you are hit with an adversity in life. In order for you to be able to achieve your resolutions, there will be some obstacles in the way, but then how do you bounce back? That is what you ought to know, or that is an attitude or a character or a quality that you have to possess or have as a person. Now, the last step is the fact that you have to revisit your resolutions regularly. Okay, when you make your resolutions, most mistake people make is that after they've written them down in their notebooks or in their notepad or wherever they store it down, they don't visit it, and that is a very, very bad habit. That is like a very, 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 very bad habit. You'd have to cultivate the habit of revisiting your resolutions regularly, as often as you can. Anytime you get the opportunity, take that notebook, visit your notepad in that phone or your laptop or the sticker notepad on your wall or your fridge or your wardrobe, and check the resolutions you make. You understand? Let me go over them again. Now, I'm saying that first of all, you ought to have a realistic mindset. Second of all, write down your resolutions somewhere safe where you can keep them and revisit them at any point in time you choose to see them. Thirdly, have timelines for yourself. Set time. Is it every 2 weeks you want to achieve something? Every month? every 3 months or at the end of every 6 months you want to achieve something, so that by the time you get to December or the end of the year, you know that you've made progress. Now the fourth step is that be disciplined and be resilient. These are qualities you ought to have. And the fifth one is that revisit your resolutions regularly. Now, before I sign off, I just want to leave some few tips for those of us who have always been making New Year resolutions. Now, the first step is that you have to review your last year resolutions that you made. What are the resolutions, or what are the goals you were able to achieve within the year, and the ones that you are not able to achieve. Now, the second step is that the ones that you were not able to achieve, add them to the current year you are in and make conscious efforts to achieve them. And maybe you might want to add 1 or 2 resolutions. Now, the whole trick is that you do not have to have so many. Like, you do not have to have like 10 resolutions, 20. I mean, you will not be able to achieve all of them. Realistically, this is me being realistic. So you'd have to have just a few of some resolutions you think you can achieve, and then you add them to the old ones you were not able to achieve, and work at it by being disciplined and resilient, which is actually the third step. And the last step also for you is to revisit these resolutions. So I believe now you have a fair idea of how to make your New Year resolutions. It is never too late. At whatever time you're watching the video, you can still make some New Year resolutions if you haven't, just so that your life will be guided and principled, so that you'll be able to make something big and great for yourself. If you haven't subscribed or liked yet, please do what to like and subscribe. I really need this for you. And tell me in the comment button below what you want to see in my next video, what's some of the things you want to know, and what you even actually think on this video, and I promise to bring you nothing but the best. Thank you so much for sticking and staying with me. Remember, I love you and you are the best person to me.